Tom Trento, Director of the United West. Thanks for taking a few moments to spend with me at this celebratory time, recognizing America's birthday, 250 years since the signing of that Declaration of Independence, July 4, 1776. July 4, 2026, 250 majestic years. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the United West, then explain that right now in 2026 we have two lines of attack from enemies of the state who want to break up this unified 250-year-old experiment, what we need to do about that. Then I'm going to illustrate the majesty of this great country with this little thing that I just flashed by the screen. I'll show you in a little bit. And then I'll have a few words about action, what we can do. So basically, I started the United West 20 years ago. It was originally called the Florida Security Council, and it was designed to keep Florida safe from Islamic terrorists who used Florida in 2001 as a launching pad for 9/11. And as Florida Security Council grew through the years, in 2011, at Mar-a-Lago, interestingly enough, we had a name change to the United West, uniting the West against the two lines of attack, Islamic Jihad, Mohammed, and Marx, the Communist Manifesto. That's the whole idea of the United West. Fight off these enemies, maintain the integrity of the United West and the United States. In that context, we have four mission objectives from day one: to defend the Constitution of the United States. And on this day, July 4th, we signed the Declaration. Years later, the Constitution was finally ratified. And take a trip to Philadelphia, you'll see that whole story in Independence Hall, phenomenal. Well, the Constitution is a God-breathed document in many ways. It has brought the elements of nature and reality together to provide the most amount of freedom that human beings have ever had, based in self-government. These are unique principles, and they were applied to create a new order, a new political order. So we defend the Constitution, number one. Number two, we defend the state of Israel at the United West. We recognize it has a right to exist and ought to be protected by the West for a lot of reasons, if for nothing else, just for intelligence and military purposes, but it goes much beyond that. There are cultural and biblical and prophetic reasons why we need to stand with Israel, number two. Number three, we defend the Constitution, defend Israel. Number three, we defeat Mohammed. We defeat Islamic Jihad. Now, we at the United West make a distinction between a Muslim who's an individual who has accepted the religion of Islam, free to do that, and the system of Islam, a totalitarian system that integrates politics and philosophy and theology and everything else, and is supremacist. It has a mandate to have the world submit Islam, submit to it. We make a distinction between a Muslim who may or may not be in accord with the dictates, the teaching, the orthodoxy of Islam versus the system of Islam. So whenever we critique Islam, it's the written documents in the Quran and other books and writings that support that. And we simply say that according to Islamic scholars, according to Islamic experts, according to the Quran itself, the God of the West, the Judeo-Christian God, is not the God of the Quran, two different gods, according to Islam, and according to Christianity too. And that the teachings, the primary Quranic teachings of Islam are simply incompatible with the constitutional teachings of the Declaration and the U.S. Constitution. So that's the United West, defending the Constitution, defending Israel, defeating the Islamic Jihad, and number four, defeating Karl Marx and his Communist Manifesto. Clearly, it's another worldview, another system that rejects Western civilization, rejects the God of the Judeo-Christian scriptures. It's atheistic. Communism is, as was Marx. So we fight those guys. Well, right now, there are two lines of attack that have been in effect for quite a while, but they have regained resurgency, popularity, and we see that in Manhattan with Zohran Mamdani getting elected, Democrat Socialists for America. Basically, communists smoothed over, and the socialist movement away from capitalism is simply the middle step before communism. And from socialism to communism, you always have to have a bloody revolution. Read your history. This is one of the lines of attack right now, the communist attack coming out of the Soviet Union lead and China, but working through a variety of philanthropic individuals funding the Democrat Socialist movement in America, which is, interestingly enough, tearing apart the Democrat Party. Well, they brought this upon themselves. So that's one of the lines of attack, as I said, and the other is Islamic Jihad. So what are we going to do about this? Here we are celebrating 250 years of the United States of America, and we have in front of us these two significant systems trying to destroy what the founders and framers 250 years ago put down on paper and indeed sacrificed their honor, their money, and their lives. Well, I want to illustrate the majesty, the beauty, the wonder, the providential element of the United States with this. Boop, a dollar bill. This is fascinating, the dollar bill, because it's a piece of paper, but on the back, it has the Great Seal of the United States. It's going to be a little teaching session here. So if you have a dollar bill in your pocket, take it out, and the eagle is the front of the Great Seal, and the pyramid is the back. Now, I don't have my fancy studio anymore where we zoom in and do this stuff, but if you put a dollar bill in your hand, you'll be able to follow me pretty closely. And the writing's kind of small. So on the front of it, we have an eagle, bald eagle. The bald eagle represents strength and freedom. That's what this bird represented to the framers and founders. And you got to understand, when the seal was developed, it took three committees, Sam Adams, Thomas Jefferson, and Benjamin Franklin, over 6 years, three different committees, 6 years to come up with a final version of the seal. They put a lot of time and effort in this thing. Well, the eagle they selected as the symbol of America and strength, and the eagle is holding, and many of us know this, an olive branch in its right claw, and arrows in its left claw, and its head is tilted toward the olive tree, peace. But it holds arrows, and the symbolism here is magnificent. We, this new entity of 13 colonies, and if you look carefully, all throughout the flag and the constellation above, 13, 13, 13's all over this thing because of the 13 colonies. And what the symbol is saying, we 13 colonies want peace. We look to peace. We're looking that way. We want to move in that direction. But if need be, and it's 1776, if need be, we have arrows, and we will use the arrows. Indeed, they did use the arrows to break the bonds of Britain and to release the American colonists from all types of indentured activity and legislative constraints to be free, to be free, to be free. And the eagle says, we are also e pluribus, above the eagle, e pluribus, pluribus many, unum. We are many, but we are one. We are 13 colonies, but we are one United States. We are diverse people, but we're one unified people on the documents of the Declaration and the developing Constitution and other writings. Each colony had their own constitution, their own writings. So, e pluribus, many of us, but we're united. And we're united in peace, but we will fight. That's the beginnings of this great country. When you go over to the backside of the pyramid, of the seal, you come up with the pyramid. In the bottom row of the pyramid, Roman numerals, 1776, and there are 13 layers of pyramid bricks. And obviously that represents the 13 colonies, but it doesn't complete the tip of the pyramid. The reason is very simple. The founders knew there's going to be more states that want to join our union. This is so magnificent, so beautiful, so fundamentally right that others are going to say, we want to be part of e pluribus unum. And they were correct, 13 to 50 today. And if we opened it up, you know how many countries would want to be states of the United States of America? And at the top of the symbol, Anu Septis, which simply means he, God, has favored our undertaking. So on the top of the unfinished pyramid, there sits the eye of providence, the eye of God, and it says he has favored our undertaking. And down the bottom, it says Novus Ordem Secundum, which simply means this is the beginning of a new type of business, a new order. So we have the unfinished pyramid. There's going to be more states in this phenomenal union. We have God's eye watching over us. He has favored our undertaking. And this, what we are building, is a new way to look at life, a new worldview where individuals govern themselves. And the state is subservient to the dictates of the elected people and the people in general. A whole new way of thinking, particularly as a colony under the crown. So your dollar bill here, our dollar bill, is a phenomenal symbol to remember the wonder and glory of what's happening today in celebrating the 250th birthday. But as I said, there are two lines of attack. We have Islamic Jihad on one side, wanting to subdue and dominate, and we have another one, Karl Marx, the Communist Manifesto, wanting to destroy and remake the essence of America. And simply on July 4th, nothing would give greater pleasure to the Islamic Jihad side and the Marxist communist side than to take this beautiful symbol, these two symbols, this beautiful picture, and to rip it in half and throw it away. That's the desire of the two lines of attack. And if you turn on the news or if you go surf online, do any of this, you'll see there's so much information now about people turning against the United States, turning against capitalism, turning against Israel. There's a massive shift taking place. And the ultimate goal is to rip that dollar bill in half. I think I wrote the dollar bill there. But the dollar bill, and more importantly, the symbolism behind the dollar bill can and should continue. How does that happen? Here's a call to action. We understand there's a lot of bad people out there and they want to hurt the country. But if you're breathing on July 4th, 2026, God has a plan for your life. Think of that. When you sit down after this video, hey, Trento's right. I'm alive, I'm breathing. God must have a plan for my life. And in the context of our celebration of 250 years, figure out what God, the providential eye, he has acknowledged our undertaking. He approves of it. Figure out what he wants you to do in light of your gifts, your capabilities. Maybe all you can do is write a letter saying, I love America, and here's 5 reasons why. Maybe you could take a dollar bill and show somebody the symbolism and say, hey, this is a great country. It's 250 years old. Show me another republic that's 250 years old and has done so much good for the... Are we perfect? No, but don't use that argument. We've been phenomenal in our outreach and compassion and concern for the world. Tell that story to people. Even if you're immobilized, you can tell that story. If you can get up and fight, get out and fight legally, not illegally. That's the 2 lines of enemy attack want us to have a civil war and break it apart. No, we use our brains to fight. Fight that way. Debate, argue, write books, do videos. If you're blessed with finances, George Washington needed philanthropists to help fund the Revolutionary War. This war needs philanthropists, and many of you have done phenomenal work, but you need to continue to help organizations like the United West and others who are standing on the front line, fighting Islamic Jihad, fighting the communist movement in America, and arguing for the integrity of America, Israel as the 2 sides of Western civilization, the Judeo-Christian scriptures. So do something. And I'll tell you what, on this beautiful 250th anniversary, everybody needs to get out, enjoy your families, and have a good time, be safe. And normally, when a speaker ends a little presentation, a little talk, a little video, you know, God bless, God bless, God bless America. I want to do something a little differently. I want to leave you something a little differently. God has so blessed this country. That's another video. So many ways he's blessed this country that maybe on Saturday, July 4th, 2026, 250 years after this whole thing started, we take a few moments, and instead of asking God to bless America, we just stop and we take a moment, get on our knees, stand up, whatever, and we bless God. We honor God. We thank God for what he has done. And we ask him for his strength to continue taking a stand for what is true, what is right, what is just. So have a great time with your families, and bless God. And Tom Trento signing off.